Here at Helmuth Ford, we are a small-town dealership with no hassle and no pressure.
The Keokuk County Expo in Sigourney presents the Faster Horses with opening act Neva Alden in concert Friday, July 18th at the Keokuk County Expo in Sigourney. The Faster Horses are your one-stop shop for both kinds of music, country and western. If you like high-energy 90s style country music, you're gonna love the Faster Horses. And Neva Alden is one of the best up-and-comers on the Iowa country music scene. And don't forget about the third annual fair kickoff cook-off on Saturday, July 12th. It'll be here before you know it. The concert at the Keokuk County Expo in Sigourney on Friday, July 18th. The Watch Your Fire and Rescue Soup Supper is Saturday, January 18th from 5 to 7 p.m. The menu is chili, potato, and Wisconsin cheese soup with desserts. Delivery is available within Watch Your city limits. Call 641-660-2239 or 641-224-5250 to place your order. It's the Watch Your Fire and Rescue Soup Supper this Saturday from 5 to 7. Style Me Crazy is a boutique store at 115 South Main in New Sharon. Boutique hours are Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Get fast free shipping on orders of $150 plus, and they've got hundreds of styles to choose from, plus beauty items, accessories, shoes, and more. Go to StyleMeApparel.com for more information and to see all that they have to offer at Style Me Crazy. Follow Style Me Crazy Boutique on social media or stop in person at 115 South Main in New Sharon.
Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back to the show.
And now, your hosts of the Card Subject to Change podcast, the For Frequency's Sake Tag Team Champions of the World, the Wizard CZ, and Never Wrong Nick Bull.
Hello, one and all, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Card Subject to Change podcast, the podcast by the fan for the fan. Of course, I'm your host, Never Wrong Nick Bull. We're so happy to have you along. You want to thank those for who make it fortunate or possible for us to come along, and that's Lopez Pizza. We're built by Durham Remodeling, colored by Ryan Allison Tattoo, and protected by Jared Zook of Country Financial. We're in the throes of winter. We hope you're keeping warm out there. So happy you've joined us. Episode 166. We'll get to that in just a few moments. Like I said, I'm your host, Never Wrong Nick Bull. Joining me, I'd be remiss if I did not mention him. He is one half of the For Frequency's Sake Tag Team Champions. He is my tag team partner. He is the one. He is the only. He is the Wizard, CZ. Wiz, how you doing, bud?
Man, I'm feeling real good, Nick. How about yourself?
Feeling good. A little chilly tonight. We're going to get through this. I'm looking forward to this show. Looking forward to our guest here tonight. First-time guest. So we get
Love
excited.
a first-time guest, and we're gonna ask all the hard questions, put him on the spot with everything we do.
Yeah.
But we are bringing in a Midwest veteran. Has been in the business for, I believe, about 18 years, almost 20. Known in Impact Pro Wrestling. He's been in APW. You see him across the Midwest. Please welcome in Justin Decent. Justin, how are you today, sir?
Man, I am fantastic. How are you guys doing today?
Feeling good, feeling good.
Doing great. Glad to have you here. We love having first-timers here in the studio. And we kick off all the first-time interviews with the same question I asked everybody else. Why professional wrestling? What was it that pulled you in and kept you here?
Man, what doesn't? I mean, it's a captivating spectacle of good versus evil, climactic battles in vibrant clothing with characters that are bigger than life. I mean, I was hooked in the 80s when over the top, larger than life was the only way to get it. Ultimately, I think the thing that truly drew me in is this was something I wanted to do more than something I wanted to watch. And this is a story many people have heard probably. I like to share this. So when I was about 10 years old, my father owned a country kitchen restaurant.
Okay.
It was on I-80 in Grinnell, Iowa. And random night of the week, it's probably 9, 10, 11 o'clock. We're getting ready to close. As usual, when you're the owner's kid, you're there late, you're cleaning up tables. All of a sudden, 4 guys come walking in. And I start to have a panic attack. My dad looks at me and goes, "The hell? What the hell's wrong with you?" And I start, "Oh my God. Oh my God. It's Rowdy Roddy Piper. It's the Junkyard Dog. It's Hercules. It's Paul Roma." Like, literally, men that I had watched on television come walking into Dad's restaurant when I'm just thinking to myself, I'm ready to get the hell out of here and go to sleep so I can go to school in the morning. And heroes come walking in the door. And it's near closing time, and they ask, "Hey, man, we know it's late. We're on our way down the road to the next show. We see you got a buffet. You don't need to stock it. You don't need to keep the grill open. You can keep shutting down around us. If you can just let us have some of that and jet, we will pay you double what the cost is." My dad, not knowing who these guys are, but seeing my reaction, goes, "I tell you what, you sign a placemat for my son, I'll keep the kitchen open. We'll make everything fresh. We'll restock this thing all night." Piper looks at Dad and goes, "I'll do you one better. How about he joins us for dinner?" Ooh. So I got to sit there for about an hour and a half as they ate dinner and just enjoy the company of my heroes, men who are legends. And in that moment, I realized not only is it the fun spectacle, but there's like this connection you can make with people that is absolutely magical. And I fell in love.
Well, we're not as impressive as 4 superstars walking into a country kitchen, Justin. But we love making that connection here with our guests. I know you probably have a ton of stories from sitting there with those 4 guys that night eating dinner. What are a couple that stick out to you? Like, those guys are everybody knows who those guys are. We're sitting at a dinner table with Ravishing McRude.
All I'm doing is I'm all night long and just, do you remember when you wrestled this guy? That was so cool. Do you remember when you did this? Oh my God, that was so great. Like, I was too young and dumb to understand the value of what I could have had if I could go back and slap myself and go, shut this and open this. But no, 1000% fanboy mode, and I don't think anybody but me got in a word.
Do you still have the signed placemat?
I believe my dad has it somewhere in his house.
Okay, that's cool.
Okay.
That's cool.
We both moved a lot recently, so I'm still looking for a few items.
I bet. Oh, that's a great story. Now, how long did it take you to come down from that high of having dinner and hanging out with those guys for over an hour?
I don't know that I ever did.
Great answer.
Let's be honest though, it was forever. And at that time in my life, I didn't have wrestling friends yet. That didn't happen till later in life. So the friends I went to couldn't give a flying fart in space about what I had to brag about or who I was talking about. My wrestling enjoyment was with my Uncle Tom, who was in the Army, so he wasn't even always around, and my grandfather that I saw every other weekend, roughly. My dad didn't like it. My mom didn't really watch it. So it was only in those moments that I really got to share my enjoyment with other people. Everybody else just kind of rolled their eyes and went, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I
the
know
thing.
exactly what you mean.
and that's the thing about wrestling is Nick likes to say everybody's a wrestling fan. Nobody wants to admit it. You know,
Absolutely.
man, that is a fantastic entry into the world of wrestling. Let me ask you, you mentioned 4 legends. Who was there a particular star that you said, okay, this guy's so cool, I want to be like this guy?
Yes, but I never ever really went that direction. Macho Man, that was my guy entirely. Infatuated with 90% of the memorabilia I own. Macho Man, 1,000%. In fact, it was obnoxious for probably the first 10 years I wrestled. It was a given that once the bell rang and my match was over, this came to an end, and I just became Macho Man the rest of the evening until I woke up the next morning with a voice like this. All night long at the bar, it was, "Ooh, yeah. All night, yeah, baby." And I just could not stop.
I mean, it's a pretty good imitation. It's a pretty good imitation. I see why you did it.
Now, I do have to attribute, a buddy of mine loves to point out that from a physical standpoint, anybody who's ever truly seen me tromp around the ring, physically, I do embody a lot of Jim Duggan, I think, with I'll admit it, I'm very over the top, big flailing arms and legs. That's just how I approach life. Get out of my way.
So talk about, you talked about how what made you want to do this great sport, this great business that we love. How did you get in? What was it like breaking into the business?
I had a roundabout journey. So I grew up, so a couple years after that amazing experience, my family moved. My dad remarried. We moved to a new town, and I met my friend that got me into pro wrestling. So we became friends at the 6th grade, and he had 2 older brothers. They were the Verwers brothers. Eventually, they became Big Dog Barber, Chance Cordova, and Vin Cross. They wrestled indies before I did. So old men, every one of them, terribly old. Josh's older brother, I believe, was our senior year of high school, and we were tape traders from back in the day. We traded Japanese tapes, Mexican tapes. We watched everything on TV. We recorded Raw, and then we watched. It was a heyday of wrestling. I mean, it was a smorgasbord. So that's all we did. We lived, breathed wrestling, and these guys, the older brothers, somehow found TS Aggressor. And this is in the days before really the internet. So we're talking 99. Yes, the internet's there, but nobody's promoting their school, their pro wrestling school, on the internet. So his older brother, Dustin, Big Dog Barber, gets in touch with TS Aggressor, who's starting a school and is one of his early students. And then we all just followed suit. The deal was, my friend Josh and I, because we've been friends since we were 12, we're going to go in together. Same time, same class. I had my money together. I was ready to go. I had been in the National Guard. So I used my basic training money. I was like, I'm gonna do this right now. I'm 19 years old. I'm plugged in. I've already got guys who are gonna hook me up. I'm ready. Had no money. I'm like, oh, hey man, you gotta wait. They're my brothers. This is my dream too. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll be the cool friend. So I waited. And then some of my other devilish natures came to the surface. I got like 13 speeding tickets in 3 months.
Whoa.
A few other indiscretions. And next thing you know, a significant portion of my funds are diverted from pro wrestling school to the state of Iowa. And my buddy finally gets this opportunity from his brothers this. Well, they make him a deal. At this point, one's wrestling, the other one's a ref looking to wrestle. And they make him a deal and say, we will fund your training. We get to pick your gimmick. He's like, okay, cool. He tells me, I'm like, man, you have to wait. I don't have the money now. Give me just a little bit of time. Nah, man, I'm going. Yep. So he began his journey with his brother's funding and their chosen gimmick of Giggles the Clown.
Oh,
And
my.
a pair of blue overalls speckled in paint and either a horrible paint face or a lucha mask of a clown for probably the first year or so that he wrestled. So that would have been early 2000s. I got so caught up in life. I went and played Army. I went and took a government-funded trip overseas. So it ended up being 2007 before I finally found my way back. In between, when I was in town, I would go to shows. I would help take tickets. I would record matches. I would do security. I would sell nachos. Anything I could do to be a part of the show. I set up and tore down the ring more times before I ever got to wrestle than most people do in their lifetime. And I loved every bit of it. So when I came back from my deployment, I already knew everybody. I already knew TS. I already knew everybody on the card. I already knew all the guys. So I walked right up to him and I said, okay, when is your next training class? 6 weeks. Wrote him a check on the spot. He goes, oh, hold on to that. Wait till class starts. No. You will take this now. You will take this now or I will never have this money again. I know me.
I know my tendencies.
January 2007, I started training.
And talk about that training. You've been through, you said in the National Guard, you were overseas, deployed. What was it like when you got into training finally after all these years of intending to go to wrestling school, but had just been putting it off?